Welcome back. I'm Dr. Chaps. Our next story today comes from The Blaze, who reports President Biden is now taking executive action, or threatening to do so, to take away your Second Amendment gun rights. In fact, he has directly asked Congress to infringe, which is also a violation of the Constitution. The Blaze reports Joe Biden has just asked Congress to infringe on your rights to keep and bear arms, where if they refuse, he plans executive orders to do that on his own. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki confirmed last week Tuesday, quote, President Biden has not ruled out using executive action to push through his gun control agenda, end quote. Those are her words. Gun control agenda. Executive action. Those are her words. The news followed a meeting between gun control group leaders and top White House officials last week, which left the leaders feeling confident that the Biden administration would enact gun reform by executive order if necessary, if Congress fails to pass a gun-grabbing law. When asked by a reporter during Tuesday's press briefing whether or not the administration was still considering bypassing Congress to force gun control by executive action, Psaki said yes, Biden has a range of actions at his disposal, and added that he hasn't ruled out using executive power to address the issue. Biden, who campaigned for president on a pledge to weaken the Second Amendment protection rights that you enjoy, in fact, he made that a major theme of his campaign, he issued a new statement this week on the anniversary of the shooting in Parkland, Florida, urging Congress to get moving on what he calls common sense gun laws, which include an outright ban on the so-called assault weapons. And Biden himself said the following, quote, Today I am calling upon Congress to enact common sense gun law reforms, including requiring background checks on all gun sales. That's all gun sales. Banning assault weapons and high-capacity magazines, and eliminating immunity for gun manufacturers who knowingly put weapons of war on our streets, end quote. During the news conference, Psaki also was asked about Biden's statement and specifically the chances of such an aggressive gun control plan and whether it will pass in Congress. In response, she noted, the spokesman for Biden, Psaki, noted that the administration hasn't put together a legislative package yet, signaling that maybe they're just going to do it by executive order first, and that's their preferred method. That's the news. Our thanks to The Blaze for that report. So here's the big picture on this, right? We read in the first segment how eventually, one day, the Antichrist and his army are going to make war against the church. And we saw how that's already maybe taking place in a purge of sailors in the United States Navy. If you're too Christian, or if you're not actively advocating for sin, you're going to lose your career in the military. Well, now we see how they're going after the civilian church outside of the military. If you don't turn in your weapons, or if you continue to buy high-capacity magazines, by the way, that means just 16 rounds in a clip. They call that a high-capacity magazine here in Colorado. Basically, you're going to have 6 bullets and a pea shooter to defend yourself, and that is not nearly enough. Jesus himself called for our right to defend ourselves, not to make war against the government, but to protect ourselves against government invasion, right? In Luke 22, Jesus encouraged his disciples, but now if you have a purse, take it, and also a bag, and if you don't have a sword, sell your cloak and buy an assault rifle. No, well, buy a sword. They didn't have assault rifles back in those days. But you've got to buy something that you can defend yourself with when they come knocking on your door, Christians. Jesus himself encouraged that. Today I want to invite you to sign an important petition to Congress to protect military chaplains, especially their right to pray publicly in Jesus' name. If you remember my story, you know that I was vindicated by Congress in 2006 after I took a principled stand for the right to pray in Jesus' name. But Congress never did pass a positive law to let chaplains pray according to their conscience. Would you sign that petition with me? Let's take action today.